If we've heard it once, we've heard it 1,000 times. I remember when this was all cornfields as far as the eye could see. Now, yes, the world changes. It has changed even as this show started. But I want to hear from my guests how it's changed in their world and from their perspective. Stay with us. Hello and welcome once again to the Video Call-In Show, that show that invites you, and you, to be a live guest on this program to talk about whatever you want to. We will hit the topic of the day, but it is an open forum, and the reason it's an open forum is because people don't offer that on YouTube, on many other platforms. I have not seen that offered. So what I do is I offer you a place to come and chat. Talk about the subject at hand because it interests, the topics that I choose are not only submitted by my viewers, but also of interest to most human beings. And that's the reason I choose them. So, but it also gives you the opportunity to become, more comfortable in front of the camera. Because for many people, that's a tough thing. I don't think I'm an imposing figure. I'm just a regular guy. My name is Jim, by the way. I am your host. See if I can do that. Yes. And I will be here for about the next hour. My job, to listen and learn to and about you. And if that sounds like content that you're interested in, by all means, hit that subscribe button right now. Ring that bell. And if you like this video, hit that like button for me, will you? Now, joining is real easy. All you've got to do is point your browser to zoom.us, click on join a meeting, enter that number when it calls for it. It's the meeting ID number. You will come into my green room, and I will bring folks up one by one most nights, and as they call in. First come, first serve. And remember, there's only an hour. So, oh, by the way, if you didn't get here from my channel, I'm live Sundays through Thursdays, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome, everyone. How are you this evening? We've got Jesse Mendez in the house. How you doing, Jesse? Says tag, you're it. Viewed that. How you doing, Tony? Good to see you. All right, Brenda Carlisle. Good to see you as well. Andrew Frying Pan. Welcome to the show again. Enters a ninja. Creator Spotlight Show. How you doing, Mike? Good to see you. Bearded Tech Guy. Good evening to you, my friend. Doug Betts, hello to you. Brad from Drone Kings in Darwin, which, by the way, tonight's subject is courtesy of Brad at Drone Kings in Darwin. Yes, Drone Kings in Darwin. Fantastic footage, fantastic family, fantastic editing, fantastic subject matter. I mean, he covers all sorts of things, nature, automobiles, it's just, and special events in, that happen down under. Go visit Brad if you can. Check his stuff out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And he's a hell of a guy. Good to see you, Brad. Susan Hamilton, how are you this evening? Good to see you. Next up, welcome back. Welcome back. We've also got Crap My Dad Makes Me Watch. How you doing, Adam? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you all. Thanks so much for being here. If you guys have a question for me or my guests while I'm live, by all means, tag me so I can see that big red block. Now, I may not see it every time. I'm going to apologize up front because a lot of times when I have a guest on, I try to pay as much attention as guests. That's their time, and it would be very rude of me not to. But I always try to get in with you guys as well because I want you to be part of the conversation as well. Wendell Live, welcome back to the show, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. So what has changed in my world? Well, I can tell you what's changed since last night. I'm not feeling very well. So if I have to leave or if I some bug in the stomach, I don't know, maybe I got to hold some bad yams or something. I just have no idea. But just whatever it is just not set right with me. And then, of course, I just had band practice, and shaking behind the drums doesn't help anything, especially the tenseness you feel when you're singing as well. So that does happen. That does happen. Vehicle show. When did parents quit saying? Jesse, that is an incomplete sentence, and I don't know what you mean. Oh, go outside and play. Now that has changed to a great extent. Good point, Jesse. Really good point. But I can tell you beyond that, what has changed for your host in his what am I, 56 now? In his 56 years on this planet is something else. That is one of them. Jesse's got a few years on me. That is absolutely one of them. But of course, we weren't inundated with all the technology that kids are today. Not only that, parents' propensity to be or to leave technology as their babysitter is all too easy. It is the path of least resistance. You've got to be strong as parents and not leave it. Why are you not a mod, Tony? What the hell? Is that a new channel? I viewed that. Interesting. Huh. Yes. Okay. Good. Having said that, Wally World, how you doing? Good to see. Yes, we had jarts. We had motorized three-wheelers. Off-road three-wheelers. Both of those are now banned, only because there are a few idiots that didn't know how to use them. And isn't that the way, though? A few rotten apples ruined the bunch. It's just been that way since the dawn of time. That's interesting. Anyway, yeah, let's see. I also grew up when I was a kid. All we had was black and white television. Ooh, that's gotta screw with some kids' minds out there. Absolutely has to screw with some kids' minds because it was something else. And then color came around, but we also grew up without microwaves, and these seem unbelievably benign or basic, but I'm here to tell you, at the time, each one of them were revolutionary. And I'm trying to think what you might equate that to now. I guess the computer would be a good example. We grew up without computers as well. My boy grew up knowing nothing but computers. In fact, the internet image spec wasn't out when he was a young man, but it shortly did thereafter. He was only like 4 or 5 years old. So he's not known a time without the internet. Absolutely has not known a time without the internet. And that is so common these days. I was hoping that I wouldn't, it is a fun topic. It really is. I mean, you want to use something simple that even other people can relate to. Stay away from downtown for about 6 months. Any downtown, it doesn't matter. Sleepy little towns, they don't qualify because they don't grow. But any major metropolis area, stay away for 6 months. Come back. It's changed dramatically. There are buildings downtown that are just, and downtown Indianapolis, that are just history. And I remember them vividly. I remember them going up. And as a matter of fact, think of Market Square Arena and all the times that I spent in Market Square Arena watching concerts, motorcycle races, hockey. There's just even monster truck shows, oddly enough. And I wasn't even a fan, but yeah, just all of that is gone. That entire history is gone. That's a great idea, Brett. Says he painted night sky on kids' blinds so that they would go to sleep at 4 p.m. That's awesome. Hello, Whole 180. Welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome to the show. All right, well, let's find out from our first guest what might have changed in his world since he's been around. And this one's been around close to as long as I have. I don't think
20 years.
I'm 20 years older than you. There, dude. Now you're just trying to ruin my night.
I'm like 32.
Are you seriously 32? You're not.
No,
You're
no
not
way.
32.
Yeah,
I didn't think
I'm
so.
I'm up there too. I'm in my 50s.
Right. I knew it. I knew you. I had a few years on you, but not too many.
Yeah, just a couple.
How you doing, Mike? It's good to see you.
Pretty good. I
Uh,
thought I'd jump on here. How's my audio? Can you hear me?
yeah, it sounds so much better than the panel show.
Yeah, if somebody would have told me it's when I first jumped on Zoom, for some reason it clicked over to my default webcam one, and I didn't know it because everybody else was talking, and then I don't hear my own voice. So uh, afterwards I watched. I was like, and I went back and checked my settings, and it was set to the default.
Hmm. Well, I
But
I actually said something. I think the week prior. I said, something's wrong with your mic. We can hardly hear you, Mike. And then I thought, well, I don't know. Maybe his bandwidth is choked up about the time I'm having my panel because it happened, like last Sunday, and I thought he'll figure it out.
yeah, thanks, Dave. He likes a haircut. Mine's
Yeah,
tight.
it's good luck for you, man. It's good luck for you.
Appreciate it.
You're
It's too
you're
damn hot to be working with long hair, working
oh
outdoors.
oh man, tell me about it. Of course, I haven't had to deal with that for a long time. That's something that's changed.
Well, you were working on a deck not too long ago, right?
Yeah, yeah, but
I mean, not for work, but
yeah, but I don't have much snow on top, so I,
oh,
I
okay,
didn't have to worry about keeping the heat in.
yeah, yeah. I like it. I do it like once a year anyway.
Yeah, yeah. It
But
it feels great though, doesn't it, when it's hot out?
oh man, yeah. But yeah, I'll jump on real quick before everybody else says. I think it's Brad coming on. It's his topic, right?
I don't know. He didn't say whether or not he would one way or the other, but
We'll
he's
hear.
he knows he's warm welcome. But
Yeah.
and actually,
I'll just be real quick. When you were talking about television, I mean, I want to jump on because, like I said, we're about the same age, and some people, like these younger kids, really can't appreciate it if they grew up with like a big screen TV. And we're talking, if you're just talking about black and white, they kind of just, use it like as, you know, the, they put on their filters and that nowadays, and like Tony, viewed this or viewed that.
Mr. Black and
But
White.
yeah, when we grew up with it, all the shows were in black and white, but it wasn't just black and white. I remember, I don't know how you were, but we can afford a television, and I grew up when I was young, and we had like an 11-inch black and white, that all of us would crowd around, and we didn't know any better, that we appreciate that, but we'd all gather around this little tiny black and white TV that was fuzzy, and you had VHF and UHF, and you had to turn it
Manually
on.
change the channels. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's just now that everybody's got their phone and they're carrying around 4K, shooting slow mo video with something in their pocket is just that's just something that just blows my mind that how quick everything is happening right now.
Yeah, yeah, and that's funny you say that because we had the same situation, right? I remember the 13-inch black and white that we had for years, and I think we ended up upgrading to what, like a 19-inch, and that was maybe a used floor console or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and then of course color was around that corner, but you also said it's funny how things have changed, and you're I was going to get to this later, but I find it kind of odd how things have really stayed the same as well. Now, technology has changed, but think about it, man. We're not in flying cars. There are the the kitchen of the future never really happened. Uh, we still use fire and hot wires to cook our food,
yeah,
with the exception of microwaves. And all of our roads are still asphalt. You look around and you think, damn, this has probably been this way for 100 years. Some of these things have been this way for 100 years. And we're talking about these guys.
yeah,
So it's I when I thought about this subject and Brad brought it to my attention, I thought, we're going to find out how things have changed, but how really we're going to start talking about how things really stayed the same as well.
yeah. Well, here's one too.
Ah, yes, the Princess model dial phone, man. Yeah, they kids today don't even know what phones with cords are.
No, no, not at all. In fact, they didn't even have. They actually took the cord off because they used. Remember, they used to get all knotted up and everything.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
That
and
was probably trash.
and that was when you could take off because the model prior to that they were fixed, dude. You literally had to spin the receiver until until you got it pretty much straight, or
Straight out.
nice coil to it.
Yeah, but I know you probably got a lot of people coming on here tonight to talk because there's a lot of old people in the chat that talk about the good old days. They're a lot older than me, so no.
Well, I have a feeling that that's going to be my clientele, so I appreciate that, Mike.
But yeah, movies too. Before I go, just
Oh, sure.
I mean, you remember, movies coming out. We've got so many. We just expect them to come one after the other.
Yeah.
But how many movies came out like in a year when we were growing up? A couple here and there.
Oh man, it was few and far between comparatively. Right?
Yeah, Disney was like every 7 years, that they'd release like their, Beauty, Sleeping Beauty, and stuff like that. And now it's like on 24 hours a day, on TV. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
content.
And you'd only hear about maybe 5 to 10 summer movies, the entire summer,
Yep.
and they can they're producing those every day.
Yeah, crazy.
That is crazy.
Cool. But yeah, appreciate it, Jim. Just want to hop on here real quick and yak with you for a minute. So
Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure having you on the show.
cool. Well, I'll let you get somebody else on here. I'll be in the chat for a little while and then back to work in the morning.
All right. Well, try to stay cool, and we'll talk to you soon, bud. Thanks.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Bye. Yeah, I actually honestly did know that my guest tonight would probably be closer to my age, because when you're young, you don't have that enough perspective to see exactly what has changed and what hasn't. By the way, Northern Ohio Railroad Action, how you doing? Good, welcome to the show, David, the producer. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Have I missed anyone else? Bearded Tech Guy, Wally World, welcome, guys. Welcome. Fantastic. I'm always so paranoid that I'm missing people. I hate that. I just hate that feeling. All right. Well, let's bring up somebody who's going to make me tight. If he gets the signal, that is.
I got the signal.
You got the signal. Oh man. I feel so much better.
Well, I'm glad you do. Me too.
No video tonight?
Nah.
Okay. That's cool. We will just throw up your channel name.
Oh, well, I have a channel name?
Yeah, well, Toledo Jazz.
So you notice what I said in the beginning there in my first comment in the chat room.
Yes, I did.
I said, tag, you're in. Right?
Was that to me? Was that directed?
No. That's kind of, games. They don't play the same games anymore.
Oh, you're right.
You don't play tag. Kids don't go outside and play tag. Oh, heaven forbid you play dodgeball. Oh my gosh, don't do that.
Oh, what about cops and robbers?
Oh my goodness. Well, cowboys and Indians.
Cowboys and Indians. Yes, there's another good example.
Right. We can't play that no more. Oh, yeah. You know, snowball fights.
Oh yeah.
You can't do that. That's, you could.
Who are these people saying we can't do it? I used to do it with my boy. Absolutely.
Didn't they ban it in some college?
Oh, for the love of Christ. Really?
Because they did some flash thing about a snowball fight and they said, no, you can't do that.
Did they? I hope most colleges are sponsored by a diaper company. I really do. I mean, you're not helping these kids by keeping them as perpetual children,
Right. But that's not the subject tonight.
No, it's not. It's not. Thank you,
We
Jeff.
can get off on that subject.
Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, you saved me from going off on a rant.
I'd go right there with you, dude. Let me tell you.
Oh, Smear the Queer.
what?
Do you remember that? Now
What was
that Smear the Queer. I mean, it was a game of
Oh,
the
yeah.
times. It wasn't meant to offend. In Wally World, that's cool. I mean, that was part of growing up.
Right. and you know, tackle football with
Yeah,
no
oh,
pads.
Yep.
You know.
Man, I had some of my best childhood memories playing tackle football without pads.
Oh yeah, knockouts and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh God,
And
yeah.
knee to the side of the head.
Yep.
Nothing like it. The other thing too. Now, see, I was born in 1950, right?
Mhm.
So I'm
You got 13 years on me.
yes, sir. And the thing that and you were talking about that the kitchen of the 50s, and really, if you think about it, yes, it did come about. We have microwaves, we have rotisserie ovens, we got air fryers, we got all these electronic conveniences. The only difference is they were not run by atomic power yet.
Right. That, and they're not coming out of the wall automatically or the countertop.
No, you can.
I know you can. I know you can.
You can do that.
But by and large,
technology is there. But yeah, it's
for
not
sure.
like our laptop, which was not part of the future.
No, it wasn't. Isn't that strange?
Right. You know, laptop or computer in the home was not part of our future.
Oh, they totally dropped the ball on that one because they actually had computers back then. Of course, they filled entire rooms size of a gym. Yeah, but they absolutely had them back then. You would think that somebody was like, you know what? Oh, look, take Dick Tracy for instance. Back in the 30s.
I was just going to mention Dick Tracy with his watch.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of that stuff actually did come true.
That's
so there was those changes, the iWatch or whatever it is now.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, right?
Yep.
That stuff was there. So, but changes, I've seen a lot of changes myself from.
Well, tell us something.
Okay. What was that? Party lines?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Outhouses. Ooh. Anybody know what that is? Indoor plumbing.
Oh man, yeah. 13 years meant that much difference, huh?
Well, I mean, just depending on where you live.
That is true.
If you were out in the country, it was outhouse and party lines. It was. If you lived in town, closer to town, yeah, you had plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was in the 50s. It really wasn't that long ago, but yeah. So the changes, cars have. You're right. Where's my flying car? I want my flying car. I was promised a flying car by this time.
It's been tried over and over and over, and it just doesn't work. I mean, hell, we're still burning fossil fuels in an internal combustion engine,
right?
And we've been doing that for 100 years.
Right. And cars are even older than that.
Oh, for sure.
And they haven't really changed.
No. In fact, some of the first cars were electric cars. Did you know that?
Steam, actually.
Well, steam first, but then they also created electric cars.
Right.
Yep. Wally World's still waiting for the ejector seat in the car. I'm going to make one of those. If
you can make those. You can. And here, what's funny is the technology is there.
Oh, yeah.
We have reached the technology to create those things. We just don't have it's not to the point where it can be in everybody's house.
Yeah, the technology is just not cheap enough, right? Although with an ejector seat, all you've really got to do is weaken the roof, put an airbag underneath the your buddy's seat, and they'll go flying. Really, folks, don't do that.
Don't try that at home.
Don't try that.
Unless you have a willing participant.
Exactly. Well, even then.
Sign a waiver.
Yeah. Even then, I've seen some videos where people pranks. They'd have airbags underneath their seats, and man, they fly. Yeah, people fly and get hurt doing it. So do not do that.
Plus, of course, you're making a really strange YouTube video, and like I said, you have a willing participant.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna fall right into the jackass genre.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mentioned on there too. My timepiece back then was the street light. When
Oh,
it came on, it was time to come in the house.
for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's gone by the wayside. And that's
And I think a lot of that is because we're so connected. Our news is instantaneous. So you hear about all the bad things that are going on around the world and in your neighborhood. And so we've changed in the sense that our news is so quick that we react to it right now. So, oh, somebody was kidnapped in the next state over. Keep my kids in the house because
Yeah.
my kids will be next.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, oh, go ahead.
And I think that's because of the way we get our news nowadays. It's so instantaneous.
Yeah. And so much of it.
Oh yeah, and it's constant.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's totally a matter of perception. And I've talked about this before in that, you hear about it over and over enough because, if it bleeds, it leads. Then you get the perception that it happens all the time. When you look at the numbers, it's been on the decline for years, for decades.
Right. But when they keep talking about, and then rehashing the same stories over and over again.
Yeah, because it's 24-hour news cycle. They got to fill.
Right. We know this happened last year, but let's bring it up again this year because it's like close to the anniversary and somebody just mentioned it on some other station. So we're going to bring it up too. Yep. Next thing you know, that story is running again. And oh my God, again? No, same one. It just, they don't have no more drama to put out. So we got to make something up. Ooh, I didn't say that. They don't make up.
Well, we know they do, Jesse. You don't have to sugarcoat that one iota. I mean,
I've known about media for a long time.
Well, it's have you heard me say that that's one of the reasons I no longer work in broadcast?
Well, I probably have, but I got CRS.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised I even remember it, dude.
So I think, and you're right. Things have changed, but it's still, the song remains the same. Nothing really changes that much. We still overreact to what we are stimulated by, whatever it may be. We have a tendency to overreact, especially when it comes to, when it comes to the less fortunate. I think sometimes we even overreact to that.
That's true. And the more fortunate. I think people overreact to that as well. Mm-hmm.
Yes. We unfortunately, human beings have a tendency to overreact about anything that surprises them.
And this would be,
nothing would surprise you anymore.
I know, right? This would be a fantastic subject for later because when I could talk about it for hours. The first thing I think of is our instinct for survival and how that plays into it.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
That is an entire night subject right there.
Dude, we can see here a real good example of survival technique. Lying.
Yeah. Yes.
Lying is not a learned thing.
No.
Lying is part of survival.
Yep.
But we'll save that for another night.
Sounds good, Jess.
Well, I'll try to let you stay on tonight's subject. So I'm going to let you go. Let somebody else come in.
I appreciate that, my brother.
But no, we're going to sit down. We're going to discuss this stuff one of these nights. Really give people something to think about.
That works for me, dude. That absolutely works for me. We'll schedule.
All right. Let's see. Let me look. I'm retired. I got all kinds of time.
Well, then I'll be in touch.
All right, man.
All right. Take care, Jess.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you later, dude.
Oh man, did you guys expect to listen to some codgers wax poetic about days past? Because that's what you're getting. Oh, and I won't even be able to search engine optimize this because who wants to watch a bunch of old men on the porch telling people to get off their lawn. Before I bring up my next guest, I do want to say hello to some folks who walked in. We've got JNC No Limit TV. How you doing? Welcome. Gingerlock's mom, how did you not become a mod? You've been on here, and you are a hell of a wonderful person. Shame on me, and I apologize for that. By the way, folks, if you're just joining us and you do not know why people are moderators in the chat, and that is because they've been on the show and they're good people, and I know they'll take care of it because they continue to come back, and God love them. They just, I love to see all of you guys. So viewed this and viewed that. Is there going to be a cat fight sometime soon? Patty Broussard, how you doing, hon? I missed you earlier. I'm sorry. Good to see you. Chris Hope, good to see you as well. If I missed you, go ahead and make sure that you tag me, highlight me, and I'll try to shout you out. I did see a couple people earlier ask some questions or say some things. Oh yes, Drone Kings and Darwin says we play footy. Now there's a down under expression for you. Without pads all the time, it's called AFL. Australian rules football is what I assume he's talking about. That's awesome. Yeah, they just keep getting. I'm not even going to say that because of the concussion issue. More power to him. Bearded Tech Guy says, I was in middle school when they stopped doing dodgeball because it's too dangerous. Oh, how is dodgeball too dangerous? Are a lot of kids being sent to the hospital and I'm not being made aware of? That's what I'd like to know, because I haven't heard of any, honestly. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's that bubble wrap society that we're trying to build for ourselves. High velocity to the head on dodgeball. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't see it. The years and years that I played dodgeball in school, not one. Oh, I was the only one that got injured, and that was my own damn fault. I went down for a ball and smacked my my lip on some guy's knee, and I had before braces, I had my canine was a little high, busted right through my lip. So what? I learned not to do that anymore. How can you learn not to do things if you don't have the opportunity to make mistakes? You never know how to pick yourself up unless you're allowed to once you fall down. All right, let's bring up our next guest. And one of you might be the last one, only because of my current condition. Let me change your lower third, my friend, before we get this going. There we go. Wendell, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I absolutely can. How are you this evening?
I'm good, but I'm wondering, who in hell's calling me old anyway?
Oh, it wasn't me, dude. It wasn't me. In fact, it was one of those. Wait a minute. It was on this side. It was one of those guys, I swear. Oh, dude, we have to own it.
This is true. So Mike and Toledo Jess took some of the stuff, but change has been good and it's been bad, all at one time. So I was sitting here while I was waiting, thinking, what was it used to be? It was simpler. You could say that. We had no cost fund. I remember it was funny. You guys were talking about tackle football. My mother wouldn't let me play football on the high school team, but we could play tackle football with no pads across the street. I don't know. I still have a bone chip in my elbow from getting tackled in the driveway.
Oh man. And this in the time before seatbelts were required, I bet.
This is true. Seatbelts did come in, and that was something new.
Yeah.
The other thing, we had 4 TV channels. That's all we had.
Oh, yeah.
4 TV channels. And if you got half snow on the screen, it was a good picture. It's like, oh, look at the picture I got. This is great.
Oh, I so remember that. Remember that. And you enjoyed it. It was
you did.
It was the only thing you had, and it was cool.
And maybe this was just me, but music was a big thing. We always had a transistor radio, listening to CKLW out of Ontario. Canada.
Hmm.
I remember party lines. Now, and if you don't know what party lines are, what that meant is that there were up to maybe 5 or 6 people on the same phone line.
Yeah.
So you'd pick up the phone and, Billy Bob would be on the phone talking to Mary Bag of Donuts saying, "Hey, what are we doing? Hey, could you get off the phone? I really need to make a call." You could make a call because people were combined on one phone.
Yeah.
So,
Shared lines is what they were called. Mm-hmm.
but you're
Absolutely.
talking, air conditioning was new. I mean,
Yes.
I grew up in Northern Ohio, up by where Jake is, and we never had air conditioning in the house. And getting air conditioning in the car was, we really don't need it. So we at that time we didn't get air conditioning in the car. And now it's like, what do you mean no air conditioning in the car? You gotta be kidding me.
I know, and it's only been like the last few years that it's standard in everything now, I think.
This is true.
Yeah, with the exception of maybe some fleet vehicles, but
and you're talking about news and you think about it a little bit. We only there used to be only news twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. It was a half an hour, and that's all it was.
Yep.
And all they did was report the news. Here's what happened today. Blah 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 blah. Well, now they have the 24-hour news, so they've got to fill it in somehow. And sometimes these people say stuff on the news, and you go, "Do you really believe that? Or are you just trying to be entertaining?" Because some of it, they got to be entertaining. So it may have led people to not want to pay attention to the news anymore because, is it your opinion or is it really news? And that's the other.
right, and that's all part of them having to fill that time, right? So instead of just stories and facts and things like that, suddenly opinion became a filler material that they could use.
Yeah, from a reading standpoint, I stopped reading any opinions. If it's an opinion, I mean, except for the opinion page, I get that. But there's some of these other articles, they try to treat it as news, and it's really opinion, so I just pass on that.
Same here.
There has been some upgrades, if that's the right word, in the kitchen. I mean, we never had a dishwasher. Dishwasher again, it's another one of those things.
Trash compactors.
Wish I had a microwave when I was single. Okay. So, and we had one of those first Kenmore microwaves. It was like a tank.
Oh yeah.
I just got rid of it about 7 or 8 years ago because the tube went out on it. I couldn't find it anymore. So I was going to try to fix it.
I remember those. They were monsters.
And I may have said this already. A lot of no-cost fun. We used to have a lot of no-cost fun. We'd go swimming. We'd go fishing. There was a local ballpark in the summertime, and everybody would always go there to watch the softball games or the hardball games.
Yeah.
That stuff on American Graffiti, if you saw the movie, is so true. I mean, we would go uptown and we would just drive back and forth all night long.
Oh.
And you got pretty good after a while to be able to drive and see who's coming. Okay, you'd be driving. Oh, hey, we go.
Yeah. Or who's sitting in my town? People sat along the streets, and it was a couple miles of US 31 on the south side, and we actually called it the South Side. And almost every parking lot had people parked in it. So you'd get really good at that too, right? Keeping your eyes on the road and whoever was parked to say hello to.
Now, and Jim, I don't know what town, what size town you grew up in, but mine was bigger than the town that Jake lives in. So, but it was still a small town.
Jake.
Northern Ohio Railroad.
Oh, Nora,
right.
Uh-huh.
But when Walmart came to town, it did change everything, and it impacted the downtown area.
Oh yeah.
And although there are still merchants downtown, there are different types of merchants, and it's a different feel down there now. So it did change things.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. It just changed things. So.
Well, I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad or not, and I want people to make that decision for themselves. But there was a documentary put out not too long ago called "The High Cost of Low Prices," and it addressed the exact subject you're talking about, Wendell. And Walmart's moving in, and the competition would drive the mom and pops out. And so if you guys have a chance, go look at that. I don't think it costs anything. You can probably see it on YouTube for nothing, but it's an interesting documentary. I'm sure there's another side to it, but it's really fascinating.
And some of the stuff is obvious, Jim, but on other change, the good side, technology has made our lives easier.
Yep.
It has brought people closer together. I mean, there's people I talk to now that I probably never would have talked to again because of technology.
Yep.
And that can be a good thing. So it's all good and bad. I don't want to say the good old days. They were just the old days, and they were different than they are today. And there were good things then. There are good things today. And there's some things I miss, but boy, some of the stuff I have today, don't take it away from me. So.
I hear you, man. I couldn't have put it better myself. That's a fantastic way to look at it.
But as I look at my little list here, I think I went through everything that I thought.
You created a list?
Yeah, I can't. You get older, okay? You can't remember spelling out the list, man. And then you forget when you forget where the list is, you're screwed for the day. All right, where's the list? I don't know.
Oh man, I hear you. Not on that front, but like things to do. I gotta have a to-do list.
So, not only do I have a to-do list, then I number them. Okay, I'm going to do this one first.
Prioritize. Well, I admire your organization skills, Wendell.
I don't know. My wife gets crazy at me. She goes, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I go, "I don't know. I got to go get my list. I can't remember what I did. I got to go find out."
Yeah, just a minute.
Wait a minute. You just put it together. Well, that doesn't mean anything.
I still have to prioritize them. Well, that's fascinating.
Hey, great topic. And I miss a lot of the old stuff. But like I said, some of the new stuff, don't take it away from me either. But it's fun to look back and how things were. But I think my favorite, though, is the TV set. I mean, we had 4 channels. You had ABC, NBC, CBS, and then the local, UHF. And if you could get half snow, man, this is great. Look at that. I think I can see somebody there. What's the score of the game? I can only see part of it.
Yeah, it's like radio with blurry images back in the day. And now we have, 4,000 channels and nothing on.
That's true. So, but think about this, Jim. We've got 4,000 channels, and everybody wants to say, well, what's on Netflix?
Yeah, exactly.
What's on Hulu? Let me see on that instead. Something that's been pre-recorded.
Oh, well, live's overrated. Oh, wait. Well, thanks, Wendell. That's
all right. Great talking with you, and great show, and wonderful topic. Talk to you again soon, Jim.
All right, thanks, Wendell. We'll see you. Well, kids, what did you think of this? I should say hello to a few folks while we're here. I did see that Shauna Marie Penny walked in. How you doing, Shauna Marie? Jasmine's entertaining. Good to see you, hon. Good to see you. Ghana, welcome. So glad you could make it. Outdoorsy Gal, how you doing, Chrissy? Good to see you as well. If I missed anyone, I hope not. Anyone? Yeah. Well, Whole 180 says appliances didn't have built-in obsolescence. That is so true. And it's not just appliances, even vehicles. I mean, I don't see half the vehicles that are being produced today being on the road the same amount of time that those vehicles back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s are still on the road. And I say 70s loosely because that's when Detroit dropped the ball. They got a little too comfortable and didn't see how the world was going to change. I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm kidding. Not a great gamer. Good to see you. Firing sausages. Bob Dip, welcome. How are you? Living, yes. Wow, a lot of people jumped in since I was able to look at the chat. Have I missed anyone? I hope not. Listen, folks, it is 10:44. We don't have anyone in the wings. I think I'm going to call it a night. I do have a big busy day tomorrow. I'm going out to the boys to help him. Tomorrow night, however, we're going to talk about solicitors. Yes, the scourge that is solicitors. Used to be door to door. Then it was all about your phone and mail. Now it's all about your smartphone, your computer. People trying to sell you stuff, and you haven't told them you're buying. Let's talk about that tomorrow night. I hope you guys will join me for that. Let me guess, how you doing? I think I said, I think I noticed everything. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, whole 180. I so appreciate you being here. And again, guys, my forum is wide open, and I want you all to be more comfortable to jump up and talk about the subject at hand, or whatever you'd like to. We'll and if you have a desire to talk about an entirely new subject, then bring it to my attention, and by Gingles, we'll cover that. But that's going to do it for me tonight. I want to thank again my guests. I know it was a bunch of old guys that it was yelling at clouds, but hey, you deal with what you got. But this hasn't changed. Make sure you treat others the way you would want to be treated. If we all did that, no matter how much things change, this world would be a great place. Thanks for joining us, folks. We will see you live.